Hi, I'm Allie, and today we're talking about the book Do Your Worst by Rosie Danan. This book is for all the fantasy girlies who love a little spicy romance hiatus after you've read a really thick, chunky, high world building book. I specifically picked this up as a fantasy reader because the main character is a curse breaker and it runs in her family. So we have like these fun supernatural vibes sort of going on. She also gets her first big legitimate client, which takes place in Scotland. I have been to Scotland. I've only done one day in the Highlands, literally a dark academia dream, obsessed with it there. So everything was drawing me into this book immediately. Speaking of the curse, she needs to cure a curse that is on an ancient castle. I personally wanted to see a wee bit more of Scottish folklore, a bit more technical side on the curses and how she does them. But I know it's a romance and it's about the characters. So again, I just wanted like a tiny bit more. Because there's also fun fae lore in this too. Again, I still got a lot. I think I was just being greedy because I'm a fantasy lover and I wanted more. This follows two of my favorite tropes, enemies to lovers and close proximity. Yeah, you already know. It also follows the themes of don't judge a book by its cover and finding hope in the places you least expect. My favorite part of the book, besides the supernatural history aspect, was the vulnerability between the characters. As the book progresses, we get to slowly see more of who they are. If you will, the cover is being pulled back and we're seeing what's in the pages versus what they assume is about each other. He'd gone his whole life thus far believing he had to be useful in order to be wanted. This, I think, can hit home for a lot of people, especially in corporate America, or being accessorized to the hustle culture, or simply coming from a family that expects so much of you and putting so much pressure on you. If you don't hit this certain level of success, you're worth nothing. I just feel like it's so easy to immediately judge people, especially in an enemies to lovers thing, which is why I love the trope so much, is that you assume that someone is one way based on like minimal facts, stereotyping them, how they're presenting themselves, regardless of whether they're doing it like as a way to protect themselves or it's their flaws. And you assume that that is who they are, but you soon learn that's not true and that they are experiencing all their own shit, their trauma. So I feel like Rosie did a really good job of hiding the truth about them and slowly letting it unravel. Like Shrek says, ogres are like onions. We all have layers. But yeah, that's basically the consensus. Rosie also gives us dual point of view, which I think just makes the story between the characters that much tender, which I was kind of talking about before, is that so we get to see how they feel about each other constantly in every situation. I also really love that the arcs are tied in so well to the plot. Everything that they're struggling and going through is about them solving the curse. And because it was tied so well to the plot, I kind of want a sequel. I want like an adventure series. As for the spice level, For me, it was a tad too spicy, but I think all the spice scenes that were in here are definitely earned. So that makes me happy. Again, you can also read spice and they don't have to be earned. You can just be there to enjoy the heat. I'm just saying, if you like your spice earned, it's all earned here. Yeah, it was just more spicy than I prefer, but that's okay. They were still all done really well. But I think this is a very fun Summerween read to add to your list if you're like me, itching for Halloween to come, or you can add it to your Autumn Halloween TBR. Oh, and if you're still watching, this has nothing to do with this book, but fun little fact, I was at my sister's with my husband. I went to the bathroom and came back and I was given an Amazon bag by my husband, and lo and behold, there were books inside because those are the best husbands. They surprise their wifeys with books because we love them. We want more of them. I love Studio Ghibli films. My husband actually introduced me to them. Howl's Moving Castle is one of my favorites. And this is the series. So I didn't know it was a series until one of my girlfriends, she posted this on her Instagram page. And I was like, what? Howl's Moving Castle is based off a book? Lo and behold, it's actually a series. So we have Howl's Moving Castle, I believe is the first one. Don't look at the bottom. That hurt my heart. Anyways, we're moving on. I wish they don't have the numbers, which is annoying, but they came in the box like this, and I'm assuming Howl's is the first one. In the land of Ingary, where 7-league boots and cloaks of invisibility really exist, Sophie Hatter attracts the unwelcome attention of the witch of the waste, who puts a curse on her. Determined to make the best of things, Sophie travels to the one place where she might need help, the moving castle, which hovers on the nearby hills. Okay, so then supposedly next up would be a castle in the air. Abdullah is determined to rescue her, if he can find her, and if he can avoid all the ferocious villains who seem to be after him. But how can he possibly succeed with only a bad-tempered genie and an unreliable magic carpet to help him? Why does that sound like it could be an Aladdin story? So I feel like this must take place in the same world as Howl's Moving Castle, because definitely not the same characters. House of Many Ways. Chairman Baker is in over his head. Looking for Great Uncle William's tiny cottage should have been easy, but he is the royal wizard Norland, whose house bends space and time. Its single door leads to any number of places: the bedrooms, the kitchen, the caves, under the mountains, even the path. In no time at all, Chairman becomes involved with a magical stray dog, a muddled apprentice wizard, and a box of the king's most treasured documents, as well as irritating a clan of small blue creatures. Caught up in an intense royal search, she meets a sorceress named Sophie. Okay, this is where it's all coming together, and I'm so excited, and I was super curious if Calcifer existed in the books. So freaking hyped. So can't wait to eventually read these. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider checking out my Patreon. I am a barista in real life, so if you want to tip me as a book lover once a month, $5 a month on my Patreon, you totally can. It just helps support the channel and keep all this going, and I greatly appreciate you. Anyways, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.